Okay. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יד.
Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos, everyone. And thank you, Shane Soldinger, who's going to be leading services with me not only tonight, but for the next 3 weeks. Gordon is off on a 2.5-week concert tour. I think it's a Gordon Lightfoot tribute band. So he's gone in the wilds of Colorado right now, but I am so excited to be doing services with you again.
Thank you.
So thank you. And good Shabbos to all of you. Thank you for braving the rain, even though, of course, we need it. We've had a lot of activity here at CBS recently. Over the last month or so, we had incredible Hanukkah festivities. We had 2 baby namings in a row. We had a bar mitzvah last weekend. And tonight, we have more that we're going to celebrate. Most importantly, Audrey Lieberstein, we are celebrating your birthday tonight, as well as other January birthdays. And I'm going to call Audrey up momentarily, and I'm going to call other January birthdays up a little bit later for a special blessing. So we have a lot to be grateful for tonight. We also have a guest speaker tonight. Ellen Elson is going to be talking about a woman who was so kind and so generous to our community, who passed not so long ago, Peggy Dooley, and Ellen's going to be talking about her a little bit later, so I'll be inviting Ellen to come up. But for now, Audrey, would you mind coming up to the bima? And we are going to light our Shabbat candles. You can follow the blessing on page 120. Want a hand? You don't need a hand. Okay, good.
Very blessed.
Okay,
You have the blessing here?
yes.
My mind
So
doesn't always
yeah,
work.
you just light it first.
Yeah, I know. Oops. You didn't tell him how old I was.
Do you want me to? Do you want me to?
Of course, why else am I
Okay.
here?
Well, I thought it was not polite to mention age, but Audrey specifically said she wants me to say how old she is. So she is 99 on Sunday. On Sunday.
I'm very blessed.
She's very blessed, and we are blessed to have you as one of our community members. Here's the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'havak ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, V'kidishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you, Audrey. I was hoping you were going to stay up here a little bit longer, but I guess you wanted to get back to your seat. So I'm going to call you up a little bit later in the service. We are going to continue on page 142 as we welcome the Shabbat angels to sit with us on this Sabbath evening as we sing Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Bo Hashem LaShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nizla Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Halachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sikem LaShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
The Chatzi Kaddish is on page 144. Please join me. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirtei v'yimlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, bagala, bagala, uv'izman kariv, v'miru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitramam, v'yitnasem, v'yitadar, v'yitalel, v'yitalal, shmei dekudsha barichu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'almam, v'meru, amen. We continue with the Baruch Hu. If you're able, please rise. Page 146.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Le'olam Ba'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach Le'olam Ba'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach Le'olam Ba'ed.
Page 149. And please join me in English at the top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. Page 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivo Malechuto Leolam Vaed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alavavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha, u'v'lektecha v'derech, u'shokbecha u'v'kumecha, u'shartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'visharecha, lema'an tiskeru, V'sitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim l'Elohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem l'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. Thank you so much for joining me. It drowned out my voice. I'm glad so many people here know the Ve'ahavta prayer. Okay, we're going to continue on page 157 together in English. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Micha Mocha is on page 158.
Mika mocha be'elim Adonai, Mika mocha nedebo kodesh, Mika mocha be'elim Adonai, Mika mocha nedebo kodesh. Nora tehilo, osef bele, Nora tehilo, osef bele, Adonai, le'olam, le'olam va'ed. Mika mocha be'elim Adonai, Mika mocha gozebo kodesh, Mika mocha be'elim Adonai, Mika mocha nedebo kodesh.
Page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Vayimreinu shamreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlamecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlamecha. Amen. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Vamreinu shamreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukot shlamecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlamecha. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. And keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with a morning light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen, amen,
The Amidah is on page 164. If you're able, please rise. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibur v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibur Le'elam Adonai, Mechake HaKol Atah Rav LaHoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memitu Mechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh v'kadoshim b'chol yom yalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Shalom Rahava Yisrael Amcha Si Leolam. Shalom Rahava Yisrael Amcha Si Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adam lekol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adam Leko HaShalom, Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha, T'sim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha, T'sim Leolam. V'tov b'necha l'berech, et Amcha Yisrael, B'chol כל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך שיא לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך שיא לעולם. שיא לעולם. שיא
We take time now in our service as we think of those in need of healing on this Shabbat, healing of body, healing of spirit, and healing of heart. And we ask God to bestow the bracha, the blessing of refuah shlema, full and complete healing on the following men and women from our congregation or those known and loved by our community. Ilana Massey, Kevin Brackett, Michelle Camissia, Joshua Hyman, Jesse Friedman, Jim Mates, Brenda Flood, Sharon Blevis, Jerry Mautner, Kirk Whitlatch, David Rabb, Jensen Beach, Aaron Ledden, Geraldine Kokich, Rachel Sadick, Blake Battles, Michaela Cohen, Diane Rado Persile, Rudolfo Gonzalez, Tracy Adams, Joan Wilmert, and Kim Stevens. And if anyone has a name they'd like to add to our list, I invite you to please do so. Misha Berach is on page 511.
Misha Berach Abotenu Mechor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength bless those who come before us, to help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mechor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos again, and a special Shabbat Shalom to those of you who I haven't seen for a little while. It's great to have so many people here tonight to honor the 99th birthday of Audrey Lieberstein, other January birthdays, but also to honor the life and the memory of Peggy Dooley, who I mentioned earlier. Carolyn and I have our own memories of Peggy. We did music in the vineyards with her. We participated in dinners with her. She came here to so many different events in our community. And we are very fortunate to have Ellen Elson to share some of her own personal memories about about Peggy and her friendship with Peggy. So Ellen, would you come up? Ellen is past president, activist. I don't think there's anything in our community that you haven't been involved with. So thank you for sharing your memories tonight. I'm going to move this mic over a little bit so you have both of them.
Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to see everybody here on this cold and rainy night. And I had asked Rabbi several months ago, I said, it's really interesting. We come to synagogue and we meet people and we say hello and we say Shabbat Shalom, but what do we really know about them? And it's surprising how much we don't know about each other. I've taken to taking people out to lunch to learn a little bit more about them, and that's been really quite helpful. But Peggy Dooley is a special case because Peggy Dooley never became a member of our synagogue, but she was part of our synagogue. Peggy Dooley came from a very interesting Christian background. But interestingly enough, her mother lit candles every Friday night and never told her why she lit candles every Friday night. But the way Peggy Dooley got here is really because of Maxine Maluso and Alan Maluso, because Alan Maluso went to high school with Peggy's brother, Ron. And Ron was up here visiting and wanted to go out to dinner with Alan and Maxine. And then he called and he said, "Can I bring my sister Peggy? She lives in Benicia." And of course, Alan and Maxine always invite everybody. Sure, bring Peggy. So Alan, as many of you will remember, had a big personality, loved to discuss anything historical, and Peggy loved to discuss archaeology and Judaism, and asked Alan, would it be okay if she came to services one Friday night? And that was the start of Peggy coming for 5 or 6, maybe 7 years. Almost. She hardly ever missed a Friday night, no matter how sick she was. And she drove, let me tell you, she was a frightening driver. I was in the car a couple times with her. It was not a fun experience for me. Peggy died several months ago. She was 80 years old. She grew up in Southern California. She went to the University of California at San Diego, and she majored in anthropology. But she became a medical technician and ended up running the chemistry lab at the University of California, San Diego. She was just a brilliant woman, and at her memorial service, or at her funeral, Ron did mention that he did not like being the younger brother and having to follow Peggy in school because they all thought he was going to be as smart as Peggy. I'm sure Peggy was a straight A student. But Peggy was an interesting woman. She never married, and she spent all of her time learning. She was really eager to learn about a lot of different subjects, and her two favorite subjects was archaeology and music. And CBS was really the benefactor of her travels around the world. She had gone on archaeological digs in Israel and Jordan and Egypt and all over the Middle East, even though her love was Scotland, which she went to often because she was Scottish. But when she was on these archaeological digs, she became very good friends with an American archaeologist, an educator, a gentleman by the name of Bill Deaver, and he lives over in the Middle East. And Peggy called me one day and she said, I didn't tell you how we became friends, but I'll get there in a minute. Called me one day and said, do you think that Rabbi would let Bill Deaver come and speak to the congregation if I brought him over here? I think he's going to be in the States. And I called Niles, and Niles said, of course. Well, Bill Deaver was one of the most interesting archaeologists I think we've ever had here at this synagogue. But let me just go back for a few minutes. The way I became friendly with Peggy was that we had a little thing going. Alan and Maxine and Larry and I, y'all remember my late husband Larry, I was the one who came to synagogue every Friday night. But Alan and Maxine and Larry would meet me every Friday night for dinner. We had our table at Norman Rose, right by the door. And then I said to Peggy, because Peggy would be kind of hanging around, I said, Peggy, do you want to go to dinner with us? So she started going to dinner with us at Norman Rose, and a friendship really blossomed. Not only did she have this friendship with Alan and Maxine, but Larry and I became really good friends with her, and we traveled to see her in her home in Benicia. One entire wall in her home was nothing but artifacts that she had gotten on some of the archaeological digs that she had been on in the Middle East. And she could explain every single piece of artifacts that she had in her home. But the more strange thing in her home was in her kitchen. Peggy never cooked a meal. Never cooked a meal. She ate out every meal. But in her kitchen, on every cupboard, was a kitchen appliance. And I said, Peggy, I don't understand this. Your house is full of kitchen appliances. You don't cook. She said, I want them here just in case I want to learn one day. That was Peggy Dooley. Always eager to learn anything, even if she didn't want to actually do it. One of the most interesting things that she would do is take ancient scripts and try to determine and translate them. And she ended up, before she died in her late 70s, she was able to transcribe one entire book of an ancient script that is now published. I don't have the name of it. I wish I could share it with you. Her other love were all of her friends and the members of her church. She had a home in Benicia with this gigantic living room with all this antique furniture that came out of a store that I found out that her stepfather and mother had owned. And when they passed away, she brought all the furniture to the living room. And she would have church services in her home. And this was really important to her, all of these friends. They were her community. But I have to tell you, she felt that CBS had become her community. And many of you reached out to her when she was here and did get to know her. And that's why one of the things that I think is important is that we get to know each other better. And I think remembering the life of Peggy Dooley helps us to understand that we all have stories to tell. Good stories, stories that we might have as secrets. But when we can share them with someone else, it makes both of our lives fuller. And that's what Peggy did for us. She made our lives fuller. The other thing that Peggy loved was music. And Peggy would have in her envelope, in this little I call it a little old lady purse. Maxine will remember this purse that she always carried around with a little strap. And for those of you who don't know Peggy, if you saw her, she sat in the back of the synagogue or off to that side, and she looked like she came out of a Mennonite community or an Amish community. So she didn't look Jewish, that was for sure. But let me tell you, she was as learned and as scholarly as any Jewish person that I have ever known. But she always carried all these tickets. She had tickets for every musical event from San Diego to Mendocino. And she kept them in a paper envelope that was like shredded almost. And Maxine looked in her purse one day and said, Peggy, you know, you're going to lose your tickets that way. So I'm going to bring you something. So Maxine got her one of these banker's envelopes and brought it. Until the day she died, she carried all her tickets in that banker's envelope that Maxine brought her, just so that she would keep all of her tickets straight. But I traveled with her all over Northern California for music events. And she sat on the board of a Mozart festival down in San Diego. And she also sat on many other boards because she was really into learning about different cultures. And so the name, let me see if I even wrote it down, the name of this board that the American Society of Overseas Research, whose mission is to support research into the understanding the cultures and history of the Near East from the earliest times. This would be Peggy. She would sit on a board like this. She was so brilliant in so many different ways. But the one thing I think she loved more than anything was chocolate. To the point that whenever we went out for lunch, she always wanted to see what the desserts were first. She didn't really care what she was going to eat for lunch. She wanted to see what the dessert was. And I remember the last time Maxine and I had lunch with her. Maxine will remember this. I went to her house, and she was already pretty ill by this point. And she had slept through us meeting her. And I said, oh, you know, don't worry about it. You know, we'll just go on out to lunch. We're here in Benicia, no problem. I said, you go back to bed. You look like, you know, you really look like you need some sleep. And so she said, but we have reservations. I said, I know, but Maxine and I will go over there. So we go over to the restaurant, and we're sitting there. And 5 minutes later, in walks Peggy Dooley, all dressed and ready to go with her hair in a little white bun. And we sit down, and she eats a full meal, but she wanted to know what was for dessert, and she wanted this chocolate cake. I mean, she takes half her meal home because as she doesn't cook, she has to take half the food home every day. But the one thing she wanted an extra piece of was that chocolate cake, and to this day, I am so glad we bought her that extra piece of chocolate cake, Maxine. That's a real, that was one thing that I remembered how much she truly enjoyed just getting that piece and being able to take it home with her. So I have to tell you, it's a real honor to remember Peggy Dooley, and I feel so blessed that I had this opportunity to spend time with her and get to know her and spend these last few years of her life with her and traveling about. And she was such a blessing to our synagogue. I don't know whether you remember Ben Brenner, who is a professor at Berkeley, and Ron Hendel, who she recently brought to one of our lifelong learning events here at the synagogue. She supported so many for the last 5 or 6 years that it's hard to even remember all of them. I had to go back in my emails to try to remember all of the different people that she had supported. She may not have been a member, but she supported us. And this is why I felt that we should remember Peggy Dooley and honor her tonight. She wasn't a member. She wasn't Jewish, but she was definitely a woman of valor. And with that, I would like to close and say congratulations and happy birthday to Audrey. We're so excited that, Audrey, you have made it to this 99th year. And to all the wonderful birthday friends who helped for the Oneg tonight, and to Maxine for all of your support, I just want to thank you and say Shabbat Shalom.
What a beautiful tribute to a wonderful woman. Thank you, Ellen. And I think it's a tribute to all of you that a devout, practicing Christian felt so comfortable and included in this open Reform community that she supported us not only financially, but with her body. She was here, as Ellen said, almost every Friday night for all of our guest lectures. And I think it's a testimony to CBS for creating that open inclusive, progressive congregation. We have lots of non-Jews who are members of our congregation, and I think modern synagogues look very different than they did even a generation ago. And in many ways, I think that's to the good. So we are going to continue now with the Aleinu on page 586. And again, if you're able, please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu kolim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo Please be seated. Before we turn to our announcements, Audrey, I'd like to give you a head start, so don't sit down so quickly. I'd like to invite you to come back up to the bima. And anyone else who is celebrating a January birthday, come on forward. I know we have a number. A lot. And we'll just stand right here. Come on up.
This is the most, I think.
I think this is the most we've had in a long time. Are you guys coming up too? Okay, good. We have lots of different ages covered tonight. How old is your one? From 1 to 99. That's not bad. Well, again, I think this is a testimony to our community as well. We are a diverse community demographically in terms of age.
And everybody's born in January.
And everyone's born in January. So to all of our January birthdays, Mazal Tov, congratulations to you. We're so happy that you're a part of our congregation. And I would like to offer you a very ancient Jewish blessing in honor of not this auspicious day, but this auspicious month for all of you. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's presence be with you and grant each and every one of you peace. And let us all say, Amen. Thank you. Happy birthday. Shane, you want to do a birthday song?
Baby.
Sure.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday, dear Audrey and everyone else. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, now I would like to invite up board member and all-around workhorse Allison Frost to share some important announcements with you tonight. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom again.
Shabbat Shalom.
Back to shul time. Religious school, Shorashim, and coffee and chat with Rabbi and Judy Nystrom. We'll have their first session back post-winter break on January 21st, which is Sunday. Soul Sisters are going to be meeting on Tuesday the 16th at 11 o'clock a.m. in person to review Everything is Illuminated. And is that correct? That's what? Oh. Okay, so forget that. How about the first CBS Junior Youth Group program for 6th to 9th? That's a go. Graders will start at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday the 16th. The kids will have dinner and play games. Registration is required for each child, so if you have any questions, please call Mara. Saturday the 27th, Rabbinic Intern Art Grand will be here for Torah study at 10:30 a.m. Judaism is back with Jan Sabo in the kitchen with Mandelbrot on the 31st of this month at 7 p.m. Please mark your calendars February 2nd for the annual HIAS Refugee Awareness Shabbat in the round. On February 3rd at 4:30, Lifelong Learning presents a special performance of the one-woman show Until Then by member Leslie Medine. Registration again is required, so please use the online form via the calendar. And Bunko is back on February 7th, Wednesday, the first gathering of Ladies' Night, so hope to see all you wonderful ladies there. And again, we'd like to give a warm wishes to this week's birthdays and anniversaries, as was displayed up here, and for the people who were not able to be here, who did have birthdays, we wish them a happy birthday as well. And happy anniversary to Anthony and Kim Border, 45th year. Very nice, so thank you.
Well, happy anniversary to you too. As we near the end of our service, we think of those who are no longer with us, those who have died both recently and in seasons past. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and life, love and loss, of life and death. We remember those who have died during the past year. Ann Rapson, Bob Massey, Lucille Posner, Bunny Goldstein, William Bill Lenish, Barbara Cosson, Minnie Shostak, Kevin McCarville, Etta Kessler, Faye Goldstein-Glick, Diana Coyne, Peggy Dooley, Eddie Feld, Frankie Block, Joyce Bisberg, Jake Goldstein, David Mendelson, Nancy Jeanette, Alexander Buddy Cohen, Berna Joseph Sherman, Rabbi Lori Phillips, and Pearl Shine. We also remember and honor the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of Harriet Forbstein Deller, William Mick Winter, Elizabeth Mautner, Dorothy Mosen, Diane Meyer Olcott, Marshall Levin, Mort Cohen, Robert Spitz, Helen Ruth Dobrow, Eva Finkelstein, Miriam Brown Garvis, Fred Goldman, Helen Goodman, Joseph Amar, and Isaac Sternklar. And if anyone has a name they'd like to add to our list, I invite you to please do so. The mourner's cottage is on page 598. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hiroteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'alam Olmei Almaya. Yitbarak, Vishtabak, Vitpa'ar, Vitramam, Vitnaseb. Vitadar, Vitalel, Vitalal, Shmei Dekudsha Barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, damiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all those in mourning and comfort to all those who are bereaved. And let us all say amen. Please be seated. Before we turn to the Kiddush and Motzi blessings, and thank you again for all those who put together this wonderful oneg that's waiting for us, we have a final song. You want to introduce it?
Oh, say shalom?
Yeah.
Oh, say shalom?
Say shalom. That was a good introduction.
It was, a lot of suspense. Oh, say shalom b'mava. Say shalom aleinu. V'al kol Yisrael. V'imru, amen. Oh, say shalom b'mava. Say shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. 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 Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yeshvei teva.
Thank you, Shane. This is probably 3 or 4 times that we've worked together, and I'm looking forward to the next weeks ahead. Thank you for stepping up. It's not that easy to come up here after working in hospitality all day and all week, and then suddenly leading a Shabbat service. So thank you.
A pleasure.
I would like to invite up for the Kiddush and Motzi all of the younger members of our congregation. So come on up. And everyone else, please rise. Do you guys want to hold this? Up here. Anyone else? Okay, we're going to do the Kiddush together, so lift that nice and high, and let's all sing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim. I'll drink this. I don't know if it's juice or wine, so I'll just take it in case. Oh, right. Okay, now the motzi. We have 2 beautiful chalot here. Geffen, you want to? Why don't you guys each grab a corner? All of you. Okay, ready? Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon. Shabbat shalom and happy birthday. Okay. Can you take the table up?
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom.